Okay, so the guys are coming over. I got the veggie tray ready. Take the seal off of that. Got to make sure the seal gets off of that so the guys are not going to be disappointed. Oh, my first guest is here. Hey, what's up, Terry? I got the veggie tray over here if you would like to partake in veggie tray. We're going to have a big meeting. A bunch of the guys are coming over. How are you feeling?
Did you remember the wheelchair ramp?
Oh, God. Wheelchair accessibility. That's on me. That's my bad. My bad.
Ding, 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 ding.
Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam, and today we are breaking down Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. Season 3, Episode 3, I.F.T. Don't know what that means. Maybe I'm...
Oh, I looked it up. I know what it means.
A horse with no name episode here. That was from last week. I am joined with my partner in crime here on the Sideshow. That is Mr. Terry Plucknett. How are you doing, Terry?
I'm doing good. I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back.
I'm the one that drinks. I'm not the one who pours. I'm the one who drinks.
I like it. I
love it.
Oh no, we're back, and yeah, this is an interesting episode. It's one of those that comes along every now and then where it feels like not much happens while kind of a lot happens. Like this feels like a setup episode. This feels like a setup episode.
Yeah, it's clearly it's definitely a setup episode, but there are some interesting things that do happen with Hank, and there's things that interesting that happen with Skyler and Walter, and Jesse's in his depression state of mind here in his empty house. Subtlety is the key. What is that? Did he say subtlety, or no? He said, what did he say? Simplicity is a thing, not for me. But it doesn't blow my hair back, as Saul said. But anyway, it's going to be a fun episode to dive into. What does I.F.T mean, by the way? If you already
it is a abbreviation for the last line of the episode.
The last line of the... Oh, yes.
I had to look it up because I didn't know either. But yeah, that's what it stands for.
I was thinking,
I'm sure we will discuss.
Yeah, I was thinking something like it's I.F.T. So in Forever Tuco, I'm Forever Tuco, or something like that. I don't know. I'm Forever Tuco. That's definitely a tight name. Tight. That's a word.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm late on it. Hold on, I'll hear.
Tight. Yeah.
Well, it's always a great day. My ears always perk. I always say, "Oh, Tuco, it's coming back. Flashback." No, nothing today. But we do get Tortuga coming back. Yeah, with the turtle. Very interested in this flashback sequence because that was machete, that was blood, that's Danny Trejo. How did that? What happened? It's definitely we see his boss. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting to talk about. So, without further ado, let's dive into that synopsis, sir. Oh, yeah, I need my slide here too. So I'm
all right. Well, let's do it. Breaking Bad, Season 3, Episode 3, entitled I.F.T. E.D. All right. Walt is back, and Skyler is not happy about it. And neither are aware of the bullet they just dodged. When Walt refuses to leave, Skyler calls the cops. Unwilling to tell them about the real reason she wants Walt out, there is nothing the police can do. So Walt is back in the house, but Skyler doesn't have to like it. In the meantime, Hank finds out he is wanted back in El Paso on the task force. But he is dealing from some PTSD from the Tortuga explosion and is starting bar fights. Speaking of Tortuga, Danny Trejo's back, but just for a flashback, where we see the cartel boss order the Salamanca cousins, now confirmed identity, to take out the snitch. Now they are all meeting with Gustavo Fring, along with Don Tio Salamanca, to talk about if and when they can take out Heisenberg. Gus says Walter White is an important part of his business and still needs him alive, so their revenge for Tuco will have to wait. Walt may not be cooking, but Jesse has the RV back in the desert at the urging of Saul. In his downtime, Jesse spends his time on his phone calling Jane's number just to hear her voice on the voicemail message. It's a sad day when her number is finally disconnected. Now back to Skylar. What is she to do? Her divorce lawyer tells her to sue Walt for a divorce and turn him into the police. Skylar wants to protect Walt in the eyes of their son, especially since his days might still be numbered. She and Walt finally sit down and have a conversation about why he did what he did. So, she can't get rid of him. He wants to play nice. What is Skylar to do? Ted. She does Ted. Game on. There you go.
That's the MVP moment. The wording of that was key. That was phenomenal. I applaud you, good sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, it's out there. She does Ted. Anyway.
I.F.T. E.D.
I.F.T. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, very interesting. A lot of filler stuff happening here. I'm not really a big fan of the Jesse stuff, but I understand why. I want to see him and Walt on screen again. I miss those days. It feels like it's been forever. The Skylar and Ted or Walt stuff are very interesting conversations there. But I also like the Gus sit down scene is awesome, especially when you get the cousins and the Tio.
Tio!
And as you were describing, I was like, oh, duh, that's the flashback of how Tortuga died, because it's the turtle sitting there too, and his head got chopped. Whammo. Anyway, yeah, great flashback there too. I loved it. He has a way with words. It's like a waterfall. Anyway, yeah, really awesome episode still. Even the filler episodes are always awesome, which is you can't say about every show, which is cool.
Yeah, this episode, there's like we were saying, it's a setup episode. There's not a lot that happens, but there's a lot of characterization that happens, right? We learn a lot about the characters, and some characters we learn a lot about that we didn't really know a lot about, or we don't focus on that often. Like we get deep with Hank in this episode, which is something we don't get very often so far. We get a little bit of context with Gus and his relationship with the cartel and what's all going on there. We find out for sure that yes, they are the cousins, like you have been calling for a season, saying, hey, when are Tuco's cousins going to show up? Yeah, it's them. And Don Salamanca. They called him Don Salamanca. I mean, this guy, like when they said like he's OG, he's not talking to the feds, like they mean it. Yeah. Like this guy is the guy. And that's huge. Like Tuco took over for him. So you get some great stuff there. You get Skylar, like where's she gonna go next? What's she gonna do? And yeah, like I said, she does Ted.
She does the Ted. She does the dance, and she makes sheet music with Ted. Yeah, loved it. Good stuff.
It's a two can play that game.
Yeah,
this is what we're gonna do. Okay, we can do that. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
and by this I mean Ted.
I mean him. Yeah. And just says it's like, okay, now come to dinner, boys. Dinner. Eat your salad. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, talk about poor Lewis. Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But he really in the middle of that. He really stepped up, though.
He did really step up. He stepped up. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this stuff. What's the best scene of this episode, Adam?
I'm gonna kick off the first one. I think it's the scene with Gus and the boys and the awesome veggie tray. Again, it's not wheelchair accessible. The cousins had to lift him up and have the clarification of how the Tio and Tuco got started. Now that they want blood, but Gus is still working. There's still a plan for Walter White. He didn't know them by the name of Heisenberg, which is kind of interesting as well. Well, I guess they're on a first name basis, probably.
Yeah, he probably knows the name, but he's just like, yeah, that's not what I call him.
That's not what I call him. Yeah, so I do like how there is some clarification there as well. Mike also shows like, hey, he doesn't know how close he came to what's going on, and we'll keep Saul out of this too. I thought that was kind of interesting as well.
Right.
So that's my favorite.
Whistling while he's scraping pizza off the roof.
I got some issues with that scene too, the scraping of the pizza. But anyway, yeah, it's bring this scene right here, this photo, like that's a cool shot right there with all the four gentlemen lined up looking at Gus here. I think that's pretty awesome. In what would be his chicken factory, maybe.
Yeah, you kind of get the idea. It's the chicken factory. It's where the secret sauce gets made, I guess you could say.
Where the secret sauce gets made. I haven't seen that much chicken in a long time. Anyway, yeah.
All right. So that's a good one. That's a really good one. I noticed that was my hardest one to take notes on because it was all subtitled. So not only was I listening and typing, but I had to read and type, which was a little more difficult.
Yeah.
So there's some good ones in here. The one I'm gonna go with is where my banner comes from, which is like one of the very first scenes when Skylar comes home. She sees Walt's car in the driveway, and she calls like, "Walt, are you in the house?" And he just peeks his head out the curtain. Yeah, like, what are you doing? I'm back.
All right, okay. I got it now.
It's like the funniest line delivery of it's not like I'm back or it's just I'm back. I'm back.
I got different.
It's like back to like Malcolm in the Middle, Bryan Cranston of like, let's find the funniest way to deliver this line. It's like I'm back. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You're not supposed to be in the house. Why? I'm back.
I'm all the way back, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's just so awkward, but just that moment of just I'm back. I love that. I love that line. But another one you can mention is Hank in the bar is just weird, and it's fascinating of how that goes down. And he needs something. He needs something to rile him up, something to knock it out of him, I guess. And yeah, he starts a bar fight. It's crazy.
Gomi also, it's like the whole comes up clutch too. It's like I could tell him that what I didn't tell him was your gun was underneath your seat. They didn't take
Dude, take some Flomax.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great line.
If he would have actually went to the bathroom, that would have been like a midlife crisis thing, the Flomax thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
That's a good point.
The Ken wins douchebag of the episode.
Of the episode. Are the cousins douchebags for taking that old lady's car? Like you killed that old lady to take the car. Like
how else are they gonna I don't know. Did they kill her? I don't know if they killed her.
But
my wife and I were having this debate too. Like they could have killed her. However, they didn't kill the family when they took the clothes.
Yeah, but
instead they gave him a Beamer, or at least to the goat.
Yeah, but it is also at the same time you can't leave any witnesses. You just stole somebody's car. It's not like you gave them a car, and also you just killed for people recognizing you in that truck. You slaughtered all those people too. By the way, that lady super familiar looking. I was trying to look up who it was. I got like eerie, like Diane West vibes. Like I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So I actually looked it up. She, this was her only appearance on screen. She was a location scout, and she was the in dedication to at the end of the episode because she died shortly after.
See, the cousins did kill her. Sorry. That's horrible. That's horrible.
I mean, maybe the cousins did us a favor because, according to Lloyd Christmas, the elderly, though slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose. And in this case, serving the purpose was giving up the van so that the TO could make it to the meeting.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. All right, my douchebag is Saul, because you're going to the guy who is fresh out of rehab, freshly sober, and you're making fun of the fact he has no furniture, and while presenting him with your housewarming cactus, and then asking him to start cooking again. It's because you want to make more money. That's really all it is. Saul wants to make money again, and so let's get him cooking again. It's about the douchiest thing Saul's done so far. It's like, I've talked to you before. Don't ignore your lawyer.
The DEA, yeah.
Yeah. Can we start cooking again? Because I need to make some money. That's really all it comes down to. So we know he's sleazy, but this was him at his sleaziest and douchiest. So the Pink Man Stick Man Award.
It's Skylar. She went out and did that thing, not Ted. Skylar is the stick man at the situation.
She very strategically picked that outfit for that day too. You could, if you, yeah.
True. Yeah, and she also says she I.F.T Ted, not I slept with. I slept with would have been Ted's the stick man. No, she went out and got it. So she's the stick man.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, I thought you might say Ted in this situation, but it's not. You're right. It's not Ted. I heard someone say one time that that sometimes the best ability is availability, and that's Ted.
He put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
He has no game except just being there and being willing, and that's all it took.
You find me somewhat attractive? Let's go.
Exactly. And the tension between the two of them had been building for a long time, ever since Marilyn Monroe Happy Birthday. So yeah. But no, Skylar totally is like, this is what we're doing. We're doing this now.
Yeah.
And I've got my stickman. I've got Hank, because I know he had it in him. The way he just like takes on the entire bar, that takes some cojones. And if you're gonna pull off something like that, I don't know. It gives you like honorary prowess, I think.
That is true. Have a straighter brow on me, bud. Good job, Hank. Yeah, I definitely say.
He was probably drinking something a little stronger than Trader Brow, because he actually girded up his loins to actually take on the bar.
That is true. Good call.
No one drinking a beer with their own face on the label is a stickman in that moment. That's a rule. That's
true. That is true.
All right. The best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo.
Hey, that's Danny Trejo. That's perfect. Minor character. There's not a whole lot of minor characters. Actually minor character. Wait, we do a minor character, familiar face.
Familiar face.
Okay.
Best new face.
It's definitely Danny Trejo, but I'm so that wheelchair lady. I said look like Diane West. Like, look up Parenthood 1989 Diane West and tell me that's not her with a red wig on. Like,
first off it's Weast.
Whatever.
So
okay, well, LVP. Give me the LVP. I don't care. Diane Weist. Is it Weist? Is it West?
She's only an Academy Award winner. So.
Well, yeah, I'm not good at trivia, so especially Oscar trivia.
I can see it.
That's my original thought. I was like, holy cow, they got her in here. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can see it.
So I'm going to say that's who it is, and that's who my familiar face is.
You can go with that. I'm going to go. So I have Javier Grajeda down for the cartel boss, because he's one of the only other new faces. But the one I'm going to go with is one where we finally see his face again, and we can right a wrong from earlier on that Todd corrected us on. It's Caleb Landry Jones as Lewis. Because it
Good job,
totally is
Lewis.
Caleb Landry Jones, who we know from a lot of different stuff. Like he hasn't done much recently. Like he had a moment there about 5-6 years ago, and he's like Bertram in Sandlot. No one's heard of him since. But
He got really into it.
yeah, but he got really into the 60s, and
Never saw him again.
yeah, no one ever saw him again. Yeah, we haven't seen much of him recently, but you go back to like Three Billboards, you go back to that time frame. He was like in everything, and yeah, here he is as a little kid, hanging out with Walter Jr. Definitely not Flynn,
And definitely not a little kid.
and definitely not a little kid. Yeah. Caleb Landry Jones looks like he's 12, and Walter Jr. looks like he's 25. So
he's got proper documentation. He's of age.
Yeah. Walter Jr. looks like he could be Lewis's father in another film.
Ouch.
Yeah. Anyways, but it's Caleb Landry Jones. But he always had that baby face though. He never looked old.
Hey, to baby faces. Hell yeah. We can't relate. So
I keep the beard so I don't have a baby face.
Probably for the best.
Probably. I did it once. My wife said never again. The Gomi Minor Character Award goes to
Okay. So I'm gonna go with that employee that walks in on Ted and Skylar in the break room. It's just like, yeah. So those reports, they look good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And she like goes in for like a soda or whatever she does, and like leaves. Like that's pretty funny.
That's great. That's great, and completely oblivious to the whole thing too.
Yeah. Dumb. Yeah.
So my Gomi Minor character is Gomi, because he's awesome. He gets a couple moments in this one, and they're great moments. And it's really it just allows someone for Hank to talk to, because otherwise it's just Hank being Hank, but it's like the one person Hank can get real with. And so he's the one who he tells about El Paso, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, probably in a couple weeks I'm going." It's like, "Why are you waiting? That doesn't make any sense." And then the whole thing, like he saves his butt, and with how the report goes down, and Gomi's awesome.
Yeah, good call.
Okay, the Cowhouse dumbest thing said is.
Speaking of Gomi, I'm gonna go with This Spice looks like it's been through a couple guys already, which is not a glowing recommendation by any means. Food service at this local eatery, pub, establishment. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that one. This Spice looks like it's been through a couple guys. There's not a whole lot of dumb things said, I think, here. But yeah, I think it's a good line that Gomi has. So pretty funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, I've got two things written down. One is Ted's line. Report's looking really good. I like how it looks. It is as nondescript and fake as possible, and it's a beautiful line reading, but it's a really dumb thing to say. The other thing, it's not something that was said, but I have to shout it out. I have to mention it. So Jesse drives out into the desert with the RV to cook. And what's the first thing he does? He throws the keys onto the workstation. And at least they're not in the ignition. But they're on the workstation. And I mean, I wonder if he just did that out of spite, or if he really had never learned anything. I don't know. But the keys are on the workstation.
Nice. So I must have missed this scene, because I don't recall seeing this one, even though I just finished the episode.
It's just a little split sec. It shows him like maybe 10-15 seconds. The RV's in the middle of the desert, and it's just Jesse, and he's sitting there, and he's about to cook a batch.
Huh.
And then it cuts away. It's let's see here. I've got it down here. It is
So I don't know if I was like making notes, or I had the daughter also came in too.
It goes by quick. It's It's right after Jane's phone gets disconnected. Like the very next scene after Jane's phone's disconnected, he's in the RV in the desert. It's like, well, it's time to move on.
Okay. Well, there we go. Good stuff.
Okay. Problems, outdatedness.
Yeah, I got some flaws here. Looking at a phone book to call the police. I think that's a pretty bad one.
Finding the non-emergency number, but that is definitely an outdated thing.
Yeah, phone book, and then also it's like kind of awkward. But and then why are you using those like those bright yellow cleaning gloves? You're not working with any kind of chemical to take that pizza off the roof. Like I don't get the logic on those cleaning gloves. I just think it makes it look a lot funnier than it actually is supposed to be. But yeah, those are the two things that I really picked up on. I was like, those seem awkward.
That's a good point. I don't know. He just didn't want to get dirty. I mean, I think we've seen him wear those.
Yeah.
I think we've seen him wear those gloves doing dishes too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, those are for dishes. It makes sense at that time. At least I don't know.
I don't know. The pizza does look pretty grody up there. I find it interesting that the dough stayed completely intact, the crust, and all the toppings washed away.
That is true. Kind of funny.
So my outdated is the fact that Walter Jr. and Lewis are watching Teen Titans. Isn't that what it is? I think that's what it is. Is that the show they're watching? It was like the talking like soda cup and French fries.
No, that's the Aqua Teen.
Aqua Teen. I see. This is my midlife crisis that I don't know the cultural references of
Teen
15
Titans
years ago.
Yeah, Teen Titans is Robin and Cyborg.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Funny thing is, my daughter is watching Teen Titans for the movies just as I was watching this, so that's kind of funny how you said that. No, that's like Adult Swim, or I think it's, I don't know. It's that I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Help us out, please. Todd knows. I feel like Todd. It probably comes on before like BoJack Horseman or something like that. That's what it feels like.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
See, yeah,
I wasn't that far off. So I knew it was something teen.
Teen and Force and Hunger. Yeah.
I knew it started with an S though. It's the second time I've quoted Dumb and Dumber in this episode.
Yes.
I think that also describes this episode. It's getting dumber and dumber. Dumber. The other thing I said outdated was just a simple fact that personal voicemail messages. I mean, I can't remember the last time I recorded one of those because now whenever you call someone and it goes to voicemail, it's hello, you have dialed da 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 da. Please leave a message after the tone. And no one actually has their own words now. And so the whole fact that he's sitting there just listening to the last words recorded by Jane over and over and over and over again, that wouldn't happen today. It'd be gone.
No, hey, I have.
She would probably have like a TikTok. She'd probably have like a TikTok channel today, though. So he would have.
Yeah, true.
It would live on forever.
Oh, definitely. I could call on that. All right. What else do we have? Well, midlife crisis. We haven't done that yet.
Yep, midlife crisis moment. I'll go first on this one. You've already kind of mentioned it, but something big's happening. You need the veggie platter.
Yeah, the veggie platter.
It's needed. Kind of like how we already shouted out how Hank, there was food, he had to eat it, like he was starting to eat the cheese plate. Because there also had to be a spread for the intervention. And now the meeting of the cartel bosses, we're also going to have making sure we have the veggie platter. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have like a spread of his chicken too.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, the veggie tray makes an appearance. You have to get the appreciation of a good veggie tray. That's one I had, but I'm glad we mentioned it. But I think midlife crisis, they say this at the very beginning. It's about Tortuga. He's slow out the gate, but always finishes first. It's not always good to finish first. It's always good. It lasts a little longer. especially if you have issues with that. It's you maybe should go check a doctor if you do finish first at certain things. Yeah, just throwing that out there. So Tortuga, slow out the gate, but he always finishes first.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, this is true. So
unless you get your head cut off.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's good to see that. Good to see him back on screen and see that little extra timeline.
Did you catch the irony that Machete had a machete taking his head off?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was good. It was good. It also Tortuga is also describes how long it took him to realize what was about to happen.
So actually pretty solid point there, Terry. Great job. It's pretty good.
Okay. LVP of the episode.
That lady being in the wrong place with the wrong minivan with the wrong ramp. Just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. R.I.P. Diane Wiest in the episode. I'm told it's not West, so that's what I'm told anyway.
Man,
I don't know. But it was really funny to see them pull up in her minivan and then him just he's wheeling himself down. I thought that was pretty funny. I liked it.
All right. My LVP is Walt's cooking skills. And here's why. You're going to make a fancy dinner to say thank you to Lewis for all the help he's provided over, the 5 years the school year has been going on and pregnancy while Walt has been whatever it's been. It's been a long time. So you want to make a fancy dinner. So what do? A pot roast?
And a salad.
It's like your solution as being the person who doesn't leave is to cook something that you just throw in the crock pot for the entire day. That's it. Slaving in the kitchen over a pot roast.
And a tossed salad.
And a tossed salad with a couple tomatoes thrown on top. And that's it. Yeah. That's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good pot roast. It's just, I don't know if anyone would say, you know what I really want? I want a nice, fancy sit-down dinner with a pot roast. I don't think anyone has ever said that.
This is true. I can't recall.
I love a good pot roast.
The only person I've ever seen get excited over a pot roast, and you may not even seen this movie. It's Blast from the Past with Elisa Silverstone and Brendan Fraser. It's Sissy Spacek's character. She's like, I'm making pot roast, and she walks off to the kitchen. I was like, oh my god, that's the best. That's the most like happy I've ever seen anybody making pot roast.
That's a great call. I love that movie, by the way. Love that movie.
Is that 99? Because that might be a deep dive. Who knows?
That should be a deep dive.
Leave his elevator alone.
I don't think it is. I think it's earlier. We probably already missed it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'll never complain when it's pot roast, but pot roast is a meal out of necessity because you don't have time and you can throw it in the crock pot for the day. It's not a meal that you say, you know what, it's time to really break out the cooking chops here.
Pot roast. Yeah, I think what we're establishing is the MVP is pot roast. LVP is preparing that as the meal to like get back your marriage.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when it comes down to it, isn't we could say the MVP is whatever food is shown in the episode. I mean, veggie trays, pot roast, pizza on the roof,
but not sliced, unfortunately. But yeah.
MVP. Oh yeah, chicken too. That chicken does. Yeah.
I did write down pot roast and salad as being MVP, honestly, before we started diving into that. But Lewis also stepping up could be it.
He really stepped up.
But this is my MVP for this episode, and it doesn't really pay dividends until next week's episode. It's Jane's dad finally disconnected the phone of Jane. And now Jesse has his moment to move on. So Jane's dad disconnecting the phone and moving on himself, I would take it. So
did he disconnect it, or did like the final payment finally like run out? Like I could see it being like, well, you paid through the 15th, so
maybe Jane was on the phone. Well, I would like to think it's Jane's dad then. So
I like the sentiment. I like the sentiment. My MVP is a giant duffel bag of cash, because nothing was gonna get Skylar to talk to Walt until she walked out of the room and there was a giant duffel bag full of cash. And then he said, "Can we talk?" And that's what finally got her to sit down and listen. So, I mean, money talks. That's even Skylar, who's like freaked out by the whole thing. It's like, okay, you're going to present me with $500,000. Let's talk.
Good call.
All right. So we're going to talk about what's next. But first, let's update our running tally here. Both tallies remain steady, with the Walter White body count at 2 drug dealers, 1 car, 1 custodian's career, 1 drug dealer's hideout, 1 lock, 1 uneaten burrito, 1 paper towel holder, 1 house full of rot, 1 back door to Jesse's house, 1 love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, and a pepperoni pizza. And the Jesse ass kicked count remains at 7. 7.
Number 7. Paging number 7. All right. Well,
I'm gonna change the one, instead of 1 drug dealer's hideout. I'm gonna say 1 Tuco hideout.
Tuco,
because it was Tuco's hideout. Or it's gonna distinguish it a little more from everything.
It's Tuco's hideout,
and that also means that every episode we get to say Tuco's name. So
yeah, it's a good day when we say Tuco's name.
It is a good name. You know what he would say about that?
Tight, yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, good call. So next time, I think we need to get a scene with Jesse and Walter. We need this to happen like next week. So I'm thinking something like that happens. We also probably we need to get Walt cooking again. So I guess there's going to have to be another scene with Gus and Walter. I would assume would have to have some kind of interaction, because of like you have the cousins after them and Don as well. Ding, ding, ding. So you got to have something. You have to get them back to cooking. So I think there's going to be a new batch.
Bad rum. Ding, ding.
I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that movie. Red rum, red rum. I would love some red rum actually at this time. Anyway, that's my thinking. I think we need to have actual cooking scene. We need Jesse and Walt to get back together, and I think Walt should just take the L on this one. Just let her admit that she slept with him, and that's it. Just let it lie. Like, no one got arrested for cheating or whatever.
Score is even.
It's even.
You tried to get even. We're even. Let's just call it good.
Call it as it is.
Truce.
Yeah. Yeah. Just just take the L. Just like, yep, okay, you did that. Cool. That was your freebie. I'm gonna go back and break the law.
You mean Ted?
Yeah, your freebies, Ted. Hi, Ted. Get out of here. Anyway. That's my take.
Well, I mean, we have said over and over again, Ted definitely knows when to get out. So,
which is also, okay, she's finished. I'm out. I'm good. Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I spent 20 years learning Finnish.
Oh wow! I didn't. Just like, did you mean to click that one?
Well, you said she's finished. So finish.
Okay.
That was a really bad one. That was a really bad one.
but good job, Zach. Hey, he was in the episode finally. Anyway,
he made an appearance. The challenge is still set for Zach, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll leave it for this week. But next week we'll dive into episode 4 of Breaking Bad. Looking forward to it with Terry and myself. This is Adam. Wait, Terry and myself and Adam. Terry and Adam are done with this episode. Do your thing, Terry.
Sit and spin.